Hey everyone, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Fundamentals of Magic. So in our last episode we learned how to hold a deck of cards. So hopefully you've practiced that and are feeling comfortable, because that's going to be essential in your learning how to become a card magician, because you can't learn how to do the most advanced moves until you know how to actually hold the deck of cards. Now the next step, which is also equally important and very, very useful, is learning how to shuffle a deck of cards. Now you'll notice a lot of people that don't know how to shuffle, they may do maybe an overhand shuffle, or you'll see people and they're mixing the cards together like so. The idea as to being a card magician, and this is my theory, is we want to mirror our audience. If we start doing things that are too fancy, it starts to bring attention to what we're doing, and people think we're trying to deceive them. So the idea is to keep it fairly simple. However, we do want to look like we know what we're doing. So there are many different types of shuffles, but I think the one that's essential that you learn is the table riffle. So this is the most basic table riffle, and that one there I'll teach the bridge as well. And then there's one that's looks a little bit nicer. It's a kind of a shuffle that they use in the casinos, and it's more of a relaxed and a little bit more of a fancy looking shuffle. So anyway, in this video I'm going to teach you both variations of that, and with a little bit of practice you'll be able to master that as well. Okay, so let's learn the first riffle shuffle, which is probably the most basic and the most widely used, and also show you the ending move, which is the bridge. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take the deck of cards, and you're going to start off, you can hold it in your mechanics grip, as we learned in our last video. So we have in our mechanics grip, we're going to come over and we're going to grab the deck like this. So what we have here is we have our middle finger and our ring finger on the bottom of the deck. Our thumb is resting over the top, slightly over the edge, and we have our pointer finger resting in the center of the deck, and this is going to be used to apply pressure. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to apply pressure in the middle of the deck while pushing down with our thumb, and what that's going to do is that's going to bend the cards and create a bit of a bevel. And you'll see, so it'll be like a bit of a bevel like that. So you'll see that the cards will be kind of on an angle, and that will be used to riffle the cards off. So what I do is I start off in that position, and I'll riffle off about half the deck. Once I riffle off half the deck, I have this hand here. I'm going to pull that off, and I'm going to mirror that image with this finger. So with this hand. So we're going to have our middle finger, ring finger on the bottom, pointer finger around the middle with our thumb. So now what we're going to do is we're going to apply pressure, equal pressure on both sides, bending the cards, creating that bevel up here. And all you do is just once you bend them, you're just going to very slightly release the pressure on your thumbs, and the cards will fall down into that position. Okay? So that's the shuffle. So essentially all we have to do now is we just push it back together, and the cards have been shuffled. Okay? So again, we start on this hand, bit of pressure. We're going to take half the deck by riffling it off like that. And what we're going to do here, with this hand, we're going to grab the deck, pivoting it off these fingers, and then we're going to mirror image that first grip. So we have the two fingers on the bottom, pointer finger in the middle, thumb here, bit of pressure onto a table. We release our pressure, interlacing the cards. Now at this point, we're going to do our bridge. So all the bridges is, now that you're in this position here, you're going to close your grip around the edges of the cards, and with all your three fingers here, that's not really a great view, so I apologize. With these fingers here, you're going to push down, keeping your thumbs on top, maintaining the pressure, and you're going to make like a U. Now once you have that U, you're going to release your fingers, and then they're going to, cards will fall into place. You see, so we do our shuffle. Oops, that was bad, I apologize. We do our shuffle like that, and you'll see that it's hard to do slowly, but just like that, okay? Okay, so that's going to take a little bit of practice if you've never done it before, but trust me, once you get the feel, you'll understand what I'm saying. You may have to watch that part a few times, but once you get the feel of the cards, you'll start to feel comfortable doing that, and it'll become second nature. Later on in another video, I'm going to teach a variation of that, where it's the in-hand riffle, and that is typically used for if you're performing at table side. And I'll be honest with you, the in-hand riffle shuffle is what I use most, because if I'm doing a performance, say in a restaurant or at a wedding and I'm table side, it's just kind of a natural thing to do it in your hand instead of having to put it down on the table, but that'll be at a later video. So for now, let's start off with the basics. So practice that, and at first it may feel a little awkward, but once you get the feel, it'll become the second nature. Okay, so now we're going to do the variation of the tabled riffle. Now, if you go to a casino, you've probably seen this happen. They take the cards, they split them on the table, they take their fingers, and you'll see them, and they shuffle like this, and they push them together. Now, the reason they do that is because no one is able to see the faces of the cards. Okay. Now, a lot of magicians do use that. It's like that's the tabled riffle. Now, what you'll see a lot of magicians do, because it does look a bit fancier, is they will spread out their grip, take the back here, and do the same thing, but just from the back, because it just looks a little bit fancier. And the other use of that is we'll learn later on, is you're able to do card peeks by doing that. But again, that's a little bit more advanced, so we won't get into that right now. But if you are able to master that, once we get to that point of our series, that'll make that part a lot easier. So let's learn how to do this. So essentially what we're going to do is we have the deck on the table squared up. We're going to come in with our middle finger and thumb, and we're going to hold the deck like this. And all we do is with these fingers we're pinching the top portion of the deck, and with these ones we're holding the bottom, and we're going to split the deck in half. Okay, and we're going to lay it on the table. Now if you pull it off and it's not quite straight, just give them a quick tap and place them down. Now when we place them down, we don't want them head on, we want it angled just a little bit, almost like it's making a V. Okay, so now we have our V. What we're going to do is we're still in this position with our fingers here and our thumb here, is we're going to put our fingers slightly past the center and just rest them. And we're going to push down, and while we're pushing down, we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to pull up with our thumbs, creating that bevel, but this time the bevel is going to be at the back, and we're going to release the pressure, kind of riffle through the cards like that. And what's going to happen is the cards in the corner here are going to interlace for our shuffle, and then at that point we take our ring finger with our middle finger and thumb here. So our thumb and middle finger, our thumb and our middle finger are holding the deck, and we have our ring fingers here, and we're just going to push it together, squaring it up, and then your deck's squared. So again, split the deck in half. We have our V. We're now going to put our ring finger here, thumbs on the edges, put pressure down with our ring finger, with our pointer finger, and we're going to riffle through the cards, causing them to interlace, and then maintaining the control of the cards with these two fingers, our middle finger and our thumbs here. We're going to use our ring fingers, and we're just going to push it all together nice and smoothly to square it up, and then you have a nice square deck. Okay, now a good way to practice this is just take half the deck and just practice going like this. Put your thumb here, ring finger or your middle finger here, point down here, and just get that feel. Get the feel of having the cards come off, and then you can switch and do it with the other hand. Okay? Because that way, once you get that feel, then it's just a matter of taking the decks, putting them together, and going like that. Now again, doing a shuffle like that, you're going to need a soft surface. Doing it on like a hard surface like this, I mean, you can do it, but it is going to feel a little bit more awkward. And if you were to do it on like a wood surface, it's going to be pretty difficult because you are going to have to grab the deck and lift it up. Because when you're pulling them up, you're going to lift the cards up just slightly, like a millimeter, just so you can spread them and put them back down. So we can do our shuffle like that and then push them together. Okay? So again, that's going to take a little bit of practice. At first it may feel really awkward, but keep at it and you will become more comfortable with it. Now I'll give you a piece of advice to when you're first starting out doing that. Start off with your fingers closer. So when you're doing it like a close grip like this, like you're doing a casino shuffle, it's the same idea as back here, except for you can have your whole hand across. So now I have my pinky on this corner, ring finger, middle finger, pointer finger is pushed up here, so it's almost in that top corner, and then the thumb is just kind of laying across the back edge, and then we just do like that and then square it up the same way. Now the reason I suggest start practicing it like that at first is because you're going to get the feel of the cards coming off of your thumb, and it's also a bit easier. It's a little bit easier to get that even riffle going through. And again, if you ever go to a serious card game, this is how they're going to expect you to shuffle, where they can't, so that there's no peeking. But anyway, so practice that. These shuffles are going to take a little bit of practice, but I promise you, with the proper amount of practice, they will start to feel comfortable, and you'll be doing it like a pro in no time. So that's our episode today. I appreciate you for joining us. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, because there's going to be a lot more coming. And for now, goodbye, I'm the Ordinary Magician.